We'll now call to order Board of Port Arthur Independent School District Board meeting, September 19th, 2016. We will follow the agenda as presented. We have the invocation by Joseph II, pledge to the United States and Texas flags, and roll call.
First of all, Heavenly Father, we thank you for all the many blessings bestowed on this district. Our blessings with those special teachers that you send to us, preparing these kids to come to school willing to learn. For our administrators, Lord, we ask that your will be done today, that you guide us in our thoughts and in our minds, and we make the right decision for this district. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Roll call, Ms. Davis.
President Lofton,
Here.
Vice President Barty, Secretary Ambrose,
Here.
Trustee Frank,
Here.
Trustee Guillory,
Here.
Trustee Kinlaw,
Here.
Trustee Reed.
Here. We do have a quorum. Our mission statement. Our mission as the primary source of public education in the community is to meet the unique educational needs of our diverse population by providing a comprehensive quality education for the students of Port Arthur Independent School District. We will now move to closed session at 5:32 p.m. Under the authority of the Texas Government Code sections 551.071 and 551.074, the board will meet in closed meeting to consult with the attorney regarding pending or contemplated litigation, including settlement offers and other legal matters in which the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas are clearly covered by attorney-client privileges. Consider personnel recommendations, Texas Government Code 551.074 as follows. Consider and if appropriate, approve employment of teachers. Consider and if appropriate, approve employment of assistant principal, Lincoln Middle School. We will now move to closed session at 5:33 p.m. We reconvene at 7 o'clock in open meeting. Thank you. Two girls was fighting.
How you doing? Is that all right?
It is now 7 o'clock. We will reconvene to open the meeting. We will follow the agenda as ordered. First, we have public participation. We have none. Next up, we have staff reports.
Thank you, President Lofton, and we are excited about being here today. We have a lot going on. Well, first, I want to congratulate and thank our Titans for a wonderful, wonderful football game on last Friday. That was, I guess I told Coach Harrison, that was one of the most exciting games we had in a while. And the band,
we completed one.
we completed one, but they've all been exciting, but this one is, was totally exciting because we see it complete. The band was absolutely phenomenal, playing back and forth, battle of the bands. The cheerleaders were great, the crew was great, the Flames, the cheerleaders, the staff was absolutely wonderful because they were so supportive, so that was a good thing, and it was just a lot of fun. So it's more to come. There's more to come with our football team this season, so we're excited about that. Okay, and the volleyball team got a district win, so we are happy about that. Moving on up, I want to congratulate our Memorial High School. They did have College Day on last week, where they had 40 colleges and universities that were on campus. And that was one of our students did a wonderful job at asking questions and inquiring about the colleges and universities. So we are ecstatic about that. And also, our 100 students at Lamar State College is doing very well. They are college students, and they're going every day, and they're doing a wonderful job. So our early college, high school students are in line, and they're moving fast. So it's a good thing we did issue report cards out for parents who did not know on September the 9th. So your child did receive a progress report. Every child received one, so that was a good thing. We're entering, this is our 5th week. Next week will be our 6th week, and you will receive a report card. So it will be the first report card for the 2016-17 school year. So we are off to a running start, and time is passing by. So we are excited about that. Also, this month we celebrate Latino Heritage Month, honoring our heritage, building our future. So all of our board members will receive, along with our principals, it is online. And we have certain events that are happening at the schools honoring or commemorating Latino Heritage Month. So we are extremely happy about that as well. I would ask that if Mrs. Deborah Cartwright, along with her staff, would come to the podium, and she will give us an overview of curriculum instruction in the special ed department. Mrs. Cartwright is the Director of Special Education.
Good afternoon. Dr. Porter, President Lofton, Frank, Trustee Wright, Greg Robert Reed, Ms. Ambrose, Dr. Campbell, decided to step out, Mr. Guillory, Ms. Jennings, Dr. Porter's executive team. I have Dr. Ella Williams here, our elementary supervisor, here with me, as well as Mrs. Jermaine Eddy, the secondary supervisor for special education. And we are honored to be able to stand before you all today to give you a snapshot of what we are doing in the Department of Special Education. Currently, we have 682 special education students we're providing services to. Of those 682 students, 534 of those students are receiving services in the general education setting. 148 of those students are in what we call self-contained settings, and that includes PPCD, our preschool program for children with disabilities, life skills, and adaptive behavior. We have 18 special education support staff, and that includes myself as well as the supervisors, diagnosticians, speech therapists. We have a vocational coordinator as well as a special education counselor. We also have 60 special education teachers that are providing services in Port Arthur Independent School Districts. Along with those teachers, they have 66 paraprofessionals to support them. We wanted to share some of the highlights from our department. We will be having a transition informational parent meeting this week at Memorial High School, and we will have someone from the DARS to come out and provide information to our parents about the services that they have available for students with disabilities. Also in December 7th to be exact, we have donations from the Boston Marina Law Firm. They will be providing donations to our students with disabilities, and they'll get a chance to go shopping at Walmart. We do have coming up this month our PPCD screening over at Wheatley, and along with the Head Start program. Also in the spring, we plan another PPCD screening. In the fall, we will have a transition fair for our students with disabilities, and those will be our students at the high school. They will be invited from Lamar University to participate in their transition fair. Last school year, the department provided professional development to our teachers, and we had several things going on there. They had a special education back to school staff training, autism training, crisis prevention intervention training, using technology and STAR training. Also, the teachers received standards-based IEP training, and they received support from Dr. Williams and Mrs. Eddy, the technical support. They also received training in the Rethink Behavior System, webinars as well as training. Lead Forward provided several trainings with the special education department as well. Parent trainings were also done. They receive training with InSync, which is the online program for strategies and interventions for students. They receive training for inclusion and co-teach using those models, as well as using those professional learning communities to receive that training. Also, they receive training on state assessment and updates and accommodations, STAR A, STAR alternate, and security and oath training, as well as the adaptive PE teachers receive training. In addition to that, Success Ed provided training, and also Lead Forward, they had a special education conference. This school year, we have several trainings planned as well, and as I shared with the team earlier, the key to our trainings this school year, we can provide the training, but one additional thing that we plan to do is make sure that we are monitoring those trainings. Any training the teachers receive this school year, the supervisors as well as myself, we will be going to those campuses to make sure that they're actually implementing those strategies they receive in those trainings. Because if we don't monitor that, they're just going to sit there and receive training and do nothing with it. But we're going to make sure we're monitoring those trainings. And as you can see, we have several trainings planned. Actually, on August the 1st, I met with all of the staff to give them my goals and priorities for the department. They received CPI training on August the 2nd. August 3rd and 4th, they received the Lead Forward training as well as the Rethink Implementation training. We had a special education conference where they received training in classroom management, differentiating instruction, as well as least restrictive environment. That all took place at Memorial High School on the 15th of August. Go back one, please. This Friday, we will receive training on state assessments, the updates, in a session here in the building. And in turn, we will go to the campuses and provide those updates to the staff. We have additional trainings that we will receive, InSync again, additional Lead Forward trainings, standards-based IEP training. We'll continue to support those teachers in that area. Success Ed came last week and provided training to our new teachers as well as our veteran teachers. They had an opportunity to come in for Q&A. The adaptive PE teachers will be getting additional training as well. We want to leave you all with this slide because we, as a department, we want to make sure that our students with disabilities are receiving equality, and also they're receiving, being treated fair in every situation on the campuses. We do thank you for the opportunity to give you a snapshot of what we're doing in our department. Are there any questions?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a question, Ms. Cartwright. Why do we do 2 PPCD screenings per school year?
Well, they usually set them up for the fall and the spring, but as I spoke with, actually I spoke with the principal because this school year I'm having principal conferences to see how our department can support those campuses. And Ms. Brita Reynolds did ask that same question, so I shared with her that we can add additional screenings, and because of the numbers are low in Head Start this school year, we met today to actually talk about having additional screening. But we had previously said we would do one in the fall and one in the spring, but we know now that there is a need to have additional screening. So Ms. Simmons is aware, as well as our diagnostician for that campus, that we're going to have additional screenings. Any other questions? I know I talked fast, but Dr. Porter, I had 5 minutes, so I want to get
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Is it my understanding that the state requires your classrooms to have cameras in them to be monitored?
Actually, it is on the agenda for the night we go to approve the policy on that. And if a trustee, a parent, or anyone pretty much asks to have a camera in the classroom, then the district will have to make sure they have that in the classroom. Okay.
There's no more questions.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have 2 of PAISD's finest, 2 of the finest, most academic-wise, the most energetic coaches this side of the what? Rio? Tobago. Tobago. Coach Harrison. Coach Coleman. Coach Coleman. Absent tonight is Coach Worthy. She is ill.
All right. Good afternoon, Dr. Porter, President Hoffman, school board members, Ms. James, and executive staff, Kenny Harrison. head football coach, voice coordinator. This is Coach Coleman. We're here to present, update the school board on the athletic department and some of the ideas that we have in place or that we're putting in place for the athletic department. First and foremost, we want to talk about our values and beliefs in athletics. We believe that athletics is beneficial to all students. Case in point, we have currently 3 young men from Carver Terrace department right now playing Division I athletics, whereas I don't believe this would be possible if not for athletics. And that's Terrence Henderson, who has graduated from Baylor University, who's now at Preview's master program. Darius Lamore, who's currently playing for Washington State University, and Corey Dolphin, who currently has a 3.5 at Texas Tech University. All this came through athletics. That's why I feel it's beneficial for all our students, and I think athletics can reach some kids that we normally do not reach in the school system, just to be honest. Programs benefit the entire student body and community. One thing that we recognize or we understand that this year with the playing the close games around here, it's going to bring a lot of school spirit. It's going to lift our school spirit and tie everybody together. And just getting off to a start this year, I see the student morale a lot higher than years in the past. And I commend Bianca Dixon as well as Ms. Bradford to a great start in their programs as well as the football team. And in the spring, we have our spring sports. We've been meeting with coaches to make sure that everybody's on board and understand the expectations of Port Arthur in the school district. Educates the student body and appreciate of sports and the importance of good sportsmanship. Athletics teach kids good sportsmanship. They have to go out and perform and understand they'll be penalized or consequences for mistakes on the field. And I think that helps them later on in life just with the understanding of consequences, whether it's a positive consequence or a negative consequence. So it helps with sportsmanship with our kids. Provides a wholesome program of sports in which students, parents, faculty, and staff, and other stakeholders of our school district share a renewed strength and united loyalty that binds us together. One thing I've noticed this year, the teachers and the coaching staff are on the same page, are working a lot closer together than years in the past. Once Dr. Porter and the board assigned the 3 coordinators, we went to work with building a relationship with all the coaches as well as staff and faculty throughout Port Arthur Independent School District, and I see it moving in the right direction. Communication between the 3 coordinators is great. I'm excited, I'm fired up. We're all team players, and we're looking forward to meeting every expectation of PAISD from an athletic standpoint. Another thing is boosting school spirit through the website. One thing that we'll be meeting with all coaches of all sports is building a home page for each individual sport to promote school spirit, as well as give our kids exposure with videos, photos, staffs, and schedules. I have a website for the football program that I will be sharing with the entire athletic department, and people can take bits and pieces and create their own individual web page, and we'll be meeting with coaches in the very near future so we can get that up, as well as promoting seniors with the profile pictures. Athletes of the week, and this is a vertically aligned for middle school, high school, as well as elementary, just kind of promote our kids and promote school spirit throughout each and every school in the district. And Coach Coleman will speak on that a little bit more. And my last piece is the district athletic coordinators priorities. We meet on a weekly basis. We meet every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. to discuss some of the issues that we have to make sure we're on the same page and address each issue that we have. We will start meeting with coordinators from the middle school as well as elementary coaches once a month just to make sure we're addressing all issues throughout the entire district with all sports or anything that comes up to make sure we're ready to go and we do not have any problems. And this will be done in both fall and spring. Student and parent input, we welcome student and parents input with coaches meeting with parents of their sport just to make sure that we're on the same page with our parents and our parents understand the expectations that we have for our student athletes in each and every sport. And my last piece is the hiring process. We will be working with principals in the middle school just to make sure we're on the same page with the middle school principals, that we're putting first teachers in their schools and coaches second. And I think that's very important in building a relationship with building principals and making sure they get the academic side of things done, and then the second part is getting the athletic side done, and I think that'll work hand in hand and develop a great relationship with coaches and administrators throughout the district. Next is Coach Cole.
What I want to do is sort of tie in, give you some data on why it's relevant. We want to bring relevance to athletics and education. One of the things is I gave this data to the coaches when we had our meeting. 0.03% high school basketball players wind up going to the pros. That means 99.97 are not. 0.08% high school football players wind up making it to the pros. That means 99.92 are not. So, and it's the same data for soccer, baseball, and everything else. 70% of freshmen drop out because they're not prepared. So we definitely understand, again, we know 100% of our kids, we want to make them employable. So our goal is to use sports as a tool to give them the things necessary to be successful in whatever they do. We feel like in our athletic program, if your child is just a better athlete, then we failed your child. Your child should be better prepared to go out and be successful at whatever they do. So again, we really realize the relevance, and we're trying to connect the dots with the two. Some of the things that we do, that we've done and we've had success with already, is making sure our coaches know that we want them very visible. We want them around, we want them in the hallways, in the classrooms. We've connected the dots on, it doesn't matter if a coach is coaching basketball and it's a soccer player or it's a golfer. Any teacher at any time, if they need some assistance, can have a coach speak to them, and we're doing something like trying to educate our coaches on how we want to go about correcting our kids. We don't want them just to correct them, we want to give them a better way to do it, or give them a reason why it should be done in a better way, a different way. Again, we want to bring relevance to everything that we do. I want to read something real quick. Again, this is Daniel Goldman, Emotional Intelligence, and it talks about, I'll read it real quick. There are widespread exceptions to the rule of IQ predicts success. Many or more exceptions in cases that fit the rule. At best, IQ contributes about 20% to the factors that determines life success, which leaves 80% of other forces. Those other forces are things like abilities such as being able to motivate oneself and persist in the face of frustration, to control impulse, to delay gratification, to regulate one's moods, and keep distress from swamping the ability to think, to empathize, and to hope. So the thing is that our kids, especially if they've been involved in sports, more than likely they have these type of characteristics already. And a lot of times our kids, well, my history has shown me as a teacher, a lot of kids, if they don't pick up something quickly, no one ever tells them that you look. Connect the dots to the determination that you use on the football field or basketball court. You have to use that in the classroom. You have to fill in the gap, that delayed gratification from where you start working out at the beginning of the summer to where you wind up as a state champion or a district champion. You have to apply those things. It's not where you start, it's where you end. So again, we're trying to encourage and equip our coaches, teachers, and everybody else with these other things that our kids possess already. They may not pick up something quickly, and I fall in that category, but you're not going to outwork me. And we're trying to get our kids to grab hold of those same characteristics to be able to use in the classroom. Also, again, like I said, in our any rules, we've had a very good start to the school year because of what we talked about earlier. If it's a rule, we expect our athletes to abide by the rule. And when they pass by any coach, they're going to be addressed at any time. You know what I'm saying? Again, like I said, that's why it's very important that, and we express to our coaches that we know if a kid is playing baseball, who the baseball team is, who the soccer team is, so you'll know who the athletes are. The first thing I ask a kid, do you play anything? So I can build those relationships. I I can't wait till Friday so I can see all the football players because they have their jerseys on. So again, to be able to identify athletes and just hold them accountable. And again, like I said, we don't beat them up. What we try to do, hey, look, you know, we don't do that in athletics. You know what I'm saying? We have to be the example. I think we have a very positive impact on the school environment, the classroom environment, not just with our athletes, our coaches. We're developing relationships. We've sent our rosters to every teacher so our teachers can identify who plays what, who to contact, and things like that. So we're working together to do some things to make sure that the school environment is conducive for learning. Some other things here. Our short-term goals. Establish athletic programs from K to 12. Something that we want to do. I know it's something that Dr. Porter spoke of and stuff like that. We want to start doing basketball camps, soccer camps. We want to make sure that we're making connections with the YMCA. And I know we had elementary basketball leagues at one time, so we definitely want to do those things. And get every sport involved with that. Again, demographics are changing. I think if you're going to change and it's really a culture thing, you have to start very early. Continue to improve student growth and achievement, obtain satisfying and productive classroom and school learning teaching environments. Continue to clarify the role of district athletic coordinators. Put our system of style in place. Evaluate, inspect what we expect. Communicate. Be available to teachers and administrators, what I touched on earlier. Long-term goals, full audit of indoor and outdoor facilities, inventory, orientation, new coaches, development for all, because we want everybody on the same page. Again, what we're trying to do, the impact we're trying to make in the school. All sports win. You know, we want to be, you don't have to be a district champ to be a state champ. You know what I'm saying? But, so we want to be state champs. Communication and alignment with elementary and middle schools. Build a program we all can be proud of. That's it. Any questions?
Yeah, Coach, before you leave, I got a couple of questions. How would we, and what's your plan as coordinators to involve new students into activities, sporting activities? Like you said about the demographics, it's about to change pretty soon. So students that wouldn't play football, what is your plan of trying to say, hey, we're going to get this particular culture involved in sports?
I tell you one thing that we do, since you said football, in March and April, we go out to the soccer class and we have a football camp for all soccer kids. And their athletic period is 5th and 10th period. So the first 30 minutes of that athletic period, we give a football camp. It's not a real strenuous deal, just something to kind of make it fun for the young men, to get some interest there. And we've had some kids that has actually came out and stayed. So that's the main thing that we've done to try to draw interest from different coaches in the school.
Great. And also, what I've noticed you've done this year was totally different from last year. The discipline piece in football players, when they're coming out of the, field house, with their heads turned, with their arms behind their back, that shows discipline. Those little things that students do will help them later in life. So I want to commend you on that. And also, are we supporting each sports? You know, basketball versus football, and football versus soccer. I mean, are we putting it out there to students that you want to play, if you want to run track, you have opportunities, and you have opportunity to play any sport. I mean, as coordinators, I would hope that we emphasize on students being active in all the sporting events.
Right.
And I hope that you guys teach our coaches the same thing, especially our young coaches.
Well, I'll let Mr. Copeland speak on it, but I'll say this. One thing that I'll tell my guys, that they have to play 2 sports. That's first and foremost. And I encourage young men, for example, the volleyball game that we had at home last week, I encourage young men to show up and support our volleyball team and Coach Dixon. And with doing that, I'll accompany them to the volleyball game just to let them know it is important to me as well as it's important to them to go support their classmates. And Coach Coleman can elaborate on that as well.
Thank you.
One of the things that we do, we talked about before, and we're going to continue to talk about, because our numbers are dropping, it's very important that we participate in more than one sport. Again, I've always done, I think Coach Harrison has always done, if we see a gift in a kid, if I see a basketball player and I can see he's fast, I'm going to push him toward track. You know what I'm saying? So we've always done that, but now we're more conscious of it because our numbers are dropping so much. We're at 5A right now, but the bottom line, even when you have those type of numbers, most schools that are 5A have quite a few participants in quite a few sports. So we're getting at that point right there, so we're promoting that.
Thank you.
Coach, vertical lineman, what have you done thus far on the elementary level to get those coaches involved in allocating athletics or getting involved in some type of sports? The coaches I talked to, they hadn't swayed one way or the other, and if we're going to have a football team in 8 years, we ought to be at the elementary school trying to get something going there.
I'm gonna just speak for all the sports and what the plan is right now. Again, I know, again, we're gonna do, we're trying to get the head coaches to do some type of camps, just like Coach said earlier, that starts from kindergarten all the way up. We want to do camps before we start, actually before we go into our summer programs, so they can get a taste of it. Again, we'll have to put, brochures and things like that, go promote it at the elementary schools first, then give some type of camp to get them involved. Because again, like I said, we recognize that earlier they get involved, because all it is, at the YMCA, we have it's a lot of Hispanic involvement at the very early years, and then there's a drop off. We need to make sure that there's something to do at each level as they change from kindergarten to third, from third to the 6th grade, that they have something they can participate in as far as those different sports and stuff. So that's what we're trying to implement.
You may not know, but Sunday, the 25th at 4:30 at the stadium, they're having a punt, kick, and throw contest. I don't know if you know about that or not, Coach. If we get the word out to the elementary schools, I know it's last minute, but it's something that's been out there, but nobody really promoted it. But it is going to be happening in Memorial Stadium Field on Sunday. This Sunday, 4:30.
I got a question. I know on the middle school level, we don't, wish we could implement some more sports that we can do actually within our home school, like soccer for boys and girls, and baseball and softball. Do we see that in the foreseen future that we can get those sports started just in Port Arthur? To kind of on the high school level, I think in middle school, we would have good boys and girls soccer team. From Lincoln and TJ, we have all these open fields they can do that. We have a baseball field at the complex that no one's using, that we can actually get a middle school baseball. I think a lot of our kids would, in middle school, start getting involved with that. So when they won't have to wait from Little League and then won't play again until high school. I think they fall off and go their separate ways and don't want to do sports or anything. Do we see in the same future we can get those started?
I tell you, the blueprint that we used a couple years ago to start the middle school basketball program, we've discussed it, and we're going to discuss getting that blueprint for soccer, because I think that's a great idea. I think we can get a lot of participation, and I don't think we would have any trouble finding coaches for that particular sport. So that is something that we're looking forward to addressing. We'll get the blueprint for basketball and see how, the ins and outs, how that got started, and we can definitely implement that. I'm excited about doing that.
Coaches, I've worked with both of you before, and this is just a comment. I just want to thank you. I know what you bring to the table with your team on the court, your team on the field, but thank you for insisting upon good citizenship. It helps these young men as they grow older, and both of you reflected on that. And I do hope that as the school continues to move forward, that our soccer programs, our baseball program, and all of our girls' sports at the school reflects the kind of kids that we have at that school. We're as cosmopolitan a school as there is one in the Golden Triangle, but I know you guys back those programs as well, and to say that I thank you not only for me as a school board member, but the entire community for what you guys do for the kids at the school. We're blessed to have you.
Any more questions? That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. President Lofton, that concludes our staff reports.
Okay, next up, we have minutes. Consider and if appropriate, approve the minutes of the August 25th, 2016 board meeting.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from August 25th, 2016.
We have a motion made by Dr. Kinlaw and seconded by Mr. Guillory. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The minutes has passed. We have a consent agenda. The following items, which are of a routine and or recurring nature, have been designated consent agenda items by the board president per policy B local. All of the items in the consent agenda will be acted upon by one vote without being discussed separately unless requested by a trustee, in which event the item or the items will be withdrawn. Immediately for individual consideration in its normal sequence after the items not requiring separate discussion have been acted on. Do we have any items that would like to be discussed? Take a minute to look at it.
On pool number 9.
We don't have to pull it if you want to just discuss it. Do you want to discuss it or do you want to vote it on the second?
I just want to discuss it.
Yeah, you don't need to pull it.
We don't have to vote it to discuss it. So we'll discuss item number 9.
You need a motion.
But I need a motion on the floor to discuss item number 9.
No. You need a
Oh, I need a
motion
motion for the consent agenda.
agenda, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Motion that we approve consent agendas, items 1 through 8, 10 through
No.
12.
No, it's for all.
All of it.
Oh, okay. I'll make a motion to approve all with the exception of number 9 to discuss.
And then, second.
Second.
Motion was made by Ms. Ambrose, second by Mr. Frank. We will now discuss item number 9. Consider and if appropriate, approve the contract renewal from Kelly Educational Staffing for temporary workers.
Mr. President, I just simply want to share, as I shared with Dr. Porter when we talk about daily services, we do realize that they render for us a very valuable service of providing for us teachers in the absence of our teachers here, and especially in light of the shortages. I was very disturbed to hear as we talked about some of the things that our state legislature is doing to literally curtail the interest of people and individuals who are becoming, who want to go into teaching, limiting the amount of times that they can seek certification even after attaining a degree. Having said all of that, I'm interested in us as a board at some particular point, and even talking to the superintendent, of finding some way that ultimately we can fulfill this service for our district in lieu of the $3 million that we use each year to do that. I know that it is difficult, and I know that we place a lot on our educators. I am cognizant of the old days, how it was difficult to find substitutes during the day, and how teachers had to get up early in the morning and scroll that list of individuals who were viable to come and to stand and become substitutes during that day. But in the days that are going to be forward, I want to keep us aware of the fact that it's going to be imperative that we find ways to cut back on our budget and to save as much money as we can. $3 million, I understand all that Kelly does, and I understand the rules of how they provide insurance and all of those things, but $3 million is $3 million. And ultimately, there has to be ways that other districts and other entities, other school districts are handling that in light of trying to get certified teachers to come in and do that. I'm as well grateful for the visual learning, virtual learning that we're going to be doing to help us with having substitute teachers in our classrooms. I think that's going to help us as well to continue to deliver viable curriculum to our students in light of having a substitute teacher. And I'm not in any way characterizing substitute teachers or besmirching their integrity or the fact that they stand. We need them. We want them. I'm not talking against Kelly Services. I'm just want us to be great stewards of what we've been provided for. So I just wanted to say that.
Mr. President.
Still up.
Question also, and maybe for Dr. Correa as well. Staffing with Kelly Services, monthly as far as Kelly staffing teachers a month. We have an average number of how many teachers, positions that Kelly is actually staffing a month. Do you know that?
Yes, we can get that information. They keep a running list
Right.
of the substitutes that they have weekly, daily. And I know in the beginning of the year, they work closely with human resources in order to make sure the numbers are out there. So yes, I can get that information as an approximate. Next month, I can give the numbers that we've had for the previous.
Okay. Also, not only teachers, but any positions that they
Correct.
staff
Correct.
for the district.
Wow.
Go ahead.
Okay. While at the same time, let me quickly rush to say, and I don't want to be speaking out of both sides of my mouth, but while I am grateful, while I am interested in us looking at saving money with Kelly, I am grateful as well for them increasing the amount of money that they're paying our substitute teacher. They went up a degree for our permanent subs, and so I am grateful that they did do that. So there was an increase for them. And so I am grateful for our long-term subs being rewarded and given a little bit extra. So I am grateful for that.
And let me say this, since it is on the floor, let me ask, because Kelly representatives are here.
Oh, yes.
So let me ask if they would come forward. I know they have a presentation that they do have, so maybe some of the questions that you have may be one that they can answer. So please, I would like the three of you to come forward. I'll answer Mrs. Ambrose's question with you.
My question, Dr. Corey, was when Kelly Services are doing the hiring, do they have autonomy as to who they hire?
Correct.
So they're the final authority.
Correct. Go through all the top of the stages, yes.
Hello. Dr. Porter, Mr. Lofton, and other members of the board. I have with me Gloria Sawyers, Supervisor, Melinda McNeely, and Melinda McNeely, District Manager, and Gloria Sawyers to my right. I do have a presentation here. Gloria, could you please? And, We are happy to be here today to give you an update on our services for the district. The time frame is from August 10th to September 16th, 27 days approximately. For a total of our active substitutes was 425 all positions. Our current fill rate percent is 96. Absences and vacancies filled for all positions is 3,138, averaging 130 substitutes per day. For substitute teachers only, it's 2,485. Absences filled by substitute teachers only is 462. Again, this is the time span of the 27 days. Absences that we filled in less than 1 hour is 50%. Of course, we are it's much easier to fill them when we have at least 24 hours in advance, but for those that we do get last minute, we fill them at 50%, those that are called in. For geographical location of our substitutes, within the 27-day span, keeping that in mind, is 52% are from Port Arthur.
We just got stunned with that.
Yeah.
30 substitutes per day.
Yeah.
Since for 27 days, you had 130 substitutes per day.
Taking consideration that in this number, please correct me if I'm incorrect, that you're also, in this number, you have permanent subs as well.
Correct, it's absences and vacancies.
Yes, permanent subs as well as call-ins. Every day we're going to have, because we have permanent substitutes. In addition to the number are the call-ins.
Still a lot.
Ma'am, you have your geographic location, 52% from Port Arthur. Where does the other 48% come from, and how do you determine?
It's within the time span of the 27 days that we've recruited, just within the 27 days.
Just that time?
Yes, ma'am, just that time frame.
Mr. Reed?
Yes, sir. I don't really have a question to ask the folks from Kelly, other than thanks for this information, because it's very helpful. It's always good to see the facts. But we had, I know I had asked a question about questioning the need for Kelly services when we were looking at the budget. Ms. Jeans brought out something that I thought was something very important that we need to consider moving forward. I mean, I will support having Kelly for this school year. And the main reason why, as Ms. Jeans brought up, is that an important piece of information I'm looking at right now on the second page is that they absorbed $426,000 in workman's comp, unemployment, and health care. Now, if we don't have them anymore, we have to pay for that. The X factor here is the Affordable Care Act, otherwise known as Obamacare, which every agency and private business is now by law required to follow. We have to pick up that tab if we don't have them anymore. So moving forward, as Ms. Jeans has pointed out, how much of that can we absorb in our budget? Now, granted, we're paying for it right now when we pay them. I mean, they don't do that for free, okay? But I think Ms. Jeans had accurately pointed out that may be $426,000 for them. We don't necessarily know if that's $426,000 for us. If we absorb it, it's probably more, okay? So that's just something that I think we need to consider. However, I do want to say I definitely share Reverend Frank's concerns moving forward, because we lost $4 million this year. And in order to continue to give our teachers the type of salary that we want to be able to give them, we have to look at $1 billion. And whether that can go back into our budget or not. Again, and I'm like Reverend Frank as well, this is a very valuable service that we get from Kelly. I think the other question we have to look at also moving forward, Dr. Portery, and I know there's not necessarily a I'm not saying that you're the cure-all for this answer, because definitely not, none of us are. But, and I think I kind of heard a moan, you know, when our good friends from Kelly brought this out. I mean, it's not only the 132 substitutes per day, because that includes the permanent vacancies that we have along with substitutes, but just the fact that our regular teachers on duty, we're averaging 92 of them out per day for one reason or another. And for a school district our size, you know, we have 8,600 something students right now. 92 of our teachers are out per day. That's a lot to me. And I've been in this business for a while.
Mr. President, I don't want to, you know, sometimes people talk in front of people like they're not there. I don't want to do that to you. And let me quickly rush to say that I'm not being adversarial in any way from a particular standpoint of not appreciating what Kelly Services does. You render a unique and a very important service to the children of Port Arthur and to the school district. So I don't want to in any way misrepresent what I'm saying, but I'm simply saying that in the midst of it, and I do understand as well that the part of the 92 substitute teachers are permanent subs as well. Correct.
Well, it's 130 is permanent, and the 92 people
is
this
part of it.
each day. 130 is including the permanent.
Okay. All right. So that is a lot. That's a high number. That's a lot of absences, and without you, we wouldn't be able to get those filled. But I am just making sure that you understand that I'm not being adversarial, but that in these tough times in which we live, we're tasked with looking and finding different ways to better render the education that we're charged to give to our children, as well as being good stewards of that. And then, as my colleague says here, that money, we're gonna have to pay that. You know, that Obamacare and all of that, those payments that are going to have to be made, that is going to have to be paid. We understand that, but we're paying it to them.
Well, yeah, that's what I pointed out.
Right. And we're paying it to them. And so, continually going forward, I want us to look at how it's being done. I just think that we have to do that.
Let me say something for
By the way,
purposes. Okay, I know Mr. Reed did say that 96% of teachers that we have are that those are substitutes, but that's not correct. The 96%, when they say fill rate, they mean 96% of the call-ins that they receive are filled. That's not 92% of our teachers' number.
No, I didn't say 92%, I just said 92 in actual number. That's what they said is an average, not percent.
Okay, yeah. Now, even with that 130, please tell me, we have approximately 65 vacancies. So, and that's correct. And those substitutes are in those vacant positions now.
Right.
So every day that we have a vacant position, which is about 65.
60
District-wide, 65.
with permanent subs.
Correct. And those are vacancies that we have. So it's not 92 positions that we're calling every day. Okay, so I want to make that perfectly clear. And I want you all to help me. Don't just stand there. Help me.
Okay, but when it says like you got 130 and it says 92 substitutes per day.
Correct. And what they're saying is 65 of those subs are permanent until we fill those positions.
And what about the 130?
65 plus, yes, go ahead.
Non-instructional also.
Non-instructional, you have aides,
Okay.
you have everyone else. So it's not
Right.
just teachers. I want to make that perfectly clear.
Yeah.
It's not teachers only. Okay?
So my question would be then, what other areas do you feel other than teachers?
We do feel paraprofessionals,
Okay.
custodial, cafeteria, hall monitor, and nurses.
It's
So
not
those,
just
Right.
Right, so the 92 substitute teachers per day, that one is just teachers, but the 130 includes all positions.
All selected positions.
By the way, too, and we've got the pros and cons to consider. I do want to say a very valuable service that I know I appreciate for you guys from Kelly is that you do make the lives of administrators a lot easier. I know that in the past, as an assistant principal, I've had to get up at 5, get the phone call 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm not going to be here. So I have to go to my notebook and start calling substitutes. You guys allow administrators to focus where they need to focus, which is on academic concerns and everything else that happens in the building during the day, as Dr. Porter knows. So that is a huge advantage to, and I can't stress enough, I know your service is very valuable, okay? I just want to echo what Reverend Frank was saying, is that in our position, we have to look at the whole picture, from a budgetary point of view. But I don't even question, you're in a perfect world where dollars and cents aren't that big of an issue. I mean, hands down, your service is a luxury. And it's awesome to have, I know, from an administrative point of view.
Let me ask one more question. If an individual is a permanent sub, and that individual, explains to me, because I don't know if I really have it, I know you're going to help me with this, but if he works for 29 days or 30 days, after that is when you have to begin to provide health care insurance for him. Is that wrong or right, or am I in the ballpark, or am I missing something?
It's actually more after a 90-day probationary period.
After a 90-day probationary period. So if that permanent sub is going to be in that position for 90 days, that is when you then begin to provide for him
Yes.
Health insurance.
Yes.
Okay. After 90 days.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Because I thought it was.
Can I, that's on the Affordable Care Act, but Kelly Services does offer health insurance, medical, vision, and dental, very, very reasonable cost for our employees immediately upon their first day of hire.
You know what, they have to pay into that, though, right?
I'm sorry?
They pay into that type of insurance.
Yes, sir.
So when they
Yes,
get,
sir.
when they get employed, they have an option to pick a plan that they want to use, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Any more questions?
One more, what kind of training that you provide your substitute teachers? Is that just at the beginning of the school year?
It's actually a smart practice training during, actually it's before they're actually hired. They have to pass an assessment with 80% or better. We do pair up with some of the best universities and to provide a substitute teacher training for them, classroom management. And again, they do have to pass with 80% or better. Then we do have a quarterly we have a quarterly long-term substitute teacher recognition meeting where we do update them with information as it changes.
What is your minimum requirement for a substitute teacher?
The minimum is you have to have a TB skin test, fingerprint.
I mean, education.
Oh, okay.
We mirror yours, 60 calls.
60
Yes.
60 hours. Okay.
And do you have a program for those permanent subs that have medical requirements, or do you have any that are close to being a 4-year degree? And do you have a program that would allow them to get their certification?
Do we provide a program that allows substitute teachers to get their certification? No, sir. But what we did find out in working with Lamar to recruit is that they can, the substitute teaching does go towards their observation hours.
Okay, you can continue on with the PowerPoint.
Right. Okay, it's back on. The microphone went out. Okay. So for our recruiting and retention, we have paid out over $26,000 in bonuses. The more they work, the more they qualify. We provided annually $1,000 towards scholarships, and provided a $300 donation towards the Summer Jumpstart program. We also sponsor a table at the Public Schools Foundation annually at $400. And as Mr. Reed eloquently put it, we absorb $426,000 plus in workers' compensation, unemployment, and health care. Our community involvement includes convocation, being a member and serving with the Port Arthur Chamber of Commerce. We also serve with the Port Arthur Mexican Heritage Committee, also participating in campus job fairs. Again, we started this last year. We received very positive feedback from it, and that's the quarterly long-term substitute recognition. We've always recognized and been very grateful to have long-term or substitutes that would commit to long-term assignments to support the district. So we definitely recognize them quarterly. Some things that we would like to work on. Currently, we have a 96% fill rate. We think that's really good, but we always want to strive to get 100%. We're always working to recruit at 100% every time we have a need, we want to fill it. And with that comes more rigorous recruiting and making sure that we're filling your priority needs. So last academic year, for example, one of the major needs was bilingual substitutes. And during the summer, we hired 12 bilingual substitutes.
Ms. Hamilton.
Yes, ma'am. In regards to your recruiting and retention, you've indicated you've paid $1,000 scholarship. Is that plural?
No, we do provide $1,000 towards scholarship. How it's divided, but it's $1,000 total.
And then $300 donation to our Summer Jumpstart program?
Yes.
Is that your standard donations across the board that you would give?
I would say yes for a district this size. Yes.
Any more questions? Oh,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we do have a motion on the floor for our consent agenda item. Which one? Okay, we will be discussing number 6, approve the change of the procurement method from construction manager at risk to competitive seal proposal for the elementary school bond project.
Yeah, I just like Dr. Porter to give us an update. I think this is actually good news. They haven't had a chance to say anything about it.
Okay, great. Thank you, Trustee Glory. And yes, as we have looked and as we discussed the Dowling Elementary School, we want to thank the board once again for allowing us to place approximately $10 million in the school for renovations. But as we look at the school, we look at the location, we look at where the cafeteria is, we look at placing partitions inside the school. We understand that some of the the space is going to be taken up. And the school, some things have happened that we've looked into it and we said, is it the best fit or is the best use of the money, $10 million to place into Dowling Elementary School? So as we look, we see where there is a possibility where we can build a brand new Dowling. We're looking at the funds, we're looking at the amount, and we're going to bring that to the board for consideration in a couple of months. So that is very good. So Dowling would be rebuilt. Once we were probably rebuild it facing Pat Avenue, students would be able to stay in the school until the school is complete and then move into the new school. So that is exciting news. So thank you, Mr. Gilbert, for pointing that out.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor to approve all consent agenda items, numbers 1 through 20. So I have a motion.
So
I'm sorry. Call for a vote on consent agenda items 1 through 20. All approved, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Consent agenda items passed. We will now have personnel.
President Lofton, I have given you the list of teachers that we are recommending for employment.
Motion to consider and if appropriate approve employment of teachers.
I'll make a motion to accept the recommendation of the superintendent of schools for employment of teachers.
I second that motion.
Approved by Dr. Kinlaw and seconded by Mr. Frank. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Employment of teachers has been approved. We will now have the word.
Yes. I am recommending Mrs. Kiyaka Scott for the position of assistant principal for Lincoln Middle School.
Have a motion to approve, assistant principal of Lincoln Middle School. Mr. Yasi.
So moved.
Second.
Approved by Mr. Frank and second by Dr. Kinlaw. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Lincoln, Ms. Kiyata Scott is the new assistant principal at Lincoln Middle School. Information, Dr. Wood.
For the month of August, average daily enrollment 86.4 and average daily attendance 97.52%. 2%, yes ma'am.
We will now join board meeting at 8:03.